Amber, I thought I would record my feelings about this. You pick out anything that you like. Been through it, few thoughts. Right. Mid-size agile development service providers. Funny, mid-size encompasses EPAM and HCL. How it will help application development and delivery professionals. Is there such a thing? I start thinking this is quite niche in some ways. The people that win, Brilio, Grid Dynamics, EPAM and NIT lead the pack. And Exadel also, but they don't lead the pack. Straight away, EPAM, massive, I know that. HCL behind us, Mindtree behind us, Virtusa behind us, Emphasis behind us, all good. Bunch of these seem small, I've never heard of them, so I don't think we need to worry too much. Brilio, I know a bit about and are kind of similar to us, so that sparked my interest. Some firms excel at helping clients create innovative products using the latest technology, but others accelerate client transition to agile development, which we think is his thing that he loves the most, right? Helping you go agile. People that do both are the best. Can Nest do both? Does it look like we can do both? Seems to be the central question of where he got stuck, where we really want to talk about creating innovative, differentiating products using the latest technology. That's why we exist, not to do agile. What did I pick out here? Agile development specialists who are independent firms or agile perfecters within larger firms. Not sure that's that important now. I see it. Leaders know that agile service providers are better than traditional offshore software providers, factories even. I know this is where HCL is the only one that appears like that, although Emphasis and Mindtree. But anyway, it's an interesting distinction down there. To be good, these guys are good. Provide reasonably priced staff on short notice, straight away starting with people here. It goes on, lower cost cities can provide complete teams or augment internal teams, once again people. But you know, Grid Dynamics got a nice reference in here. They help scale quickly. We don't need to interview new people because we just trust Grid to assign the right type of talent. You know, we'd love to hear that. Would Perform or Pearson have said that about Nest? Did they get the chance? A lot of questions I read here, I'm like, how did that interview go? How serious did people take it? It looks like from some of the other people here, they almost prepped and rehearsed and schooled them in how to do it because they got better write-ups. Pushing back against ill thought out requirements and unclear user stories. But also that always tells me that like they're written already, and by whom, once again, does Duncan really know this world that we live in? And you know, a true vendor is, so a true partner is helping participate in brainstorming and ideation. We try to give that story, but no view of it gets aired here. They mentioned Spotify. I found that they talk a lot about Spotify's Agile School here. But once again, Insight, they get a nice write-up here. Agile from day one. Helped us get there. No quotes from Ness here. We wanted to talk about 2 and 3, but we weren't so bothered about talking about number 1 as all about people, which in the end this has become. And I'm just going to skip the page to talk about evaluation summary. Not everyone wants both of these things. He laboured this point many times. Once again, the more I read this report, the more it's quite niche, and I'm not sure how it gets recorded. I'm going to stop here and then record a second piece on this. Okay, new video, go into some detail here. I can send a picture of what I've done here, but right, my conclusions. The ones that we got, product centricity and productivity, I don't think they stand out too much. If I look at, you don't even get a score for market presence, 0%. These guys look small because they got 1s. EPAM and HCL are massive, we knew that, and Nest gets a 3, so there's no distinguishing here. We just feel mid-range, we don't suffer either way from that part of it. Overall current offering 3.03. We actually come, I think, about 8th out of the 13 here, so I think we're mid-range. People in red are below us. People in red scored 1s and 2s. We don't get any of those because we're all 2s and 3s. We're marginally ahead of some of the others here. No, anyone that's a 3 is ahead of us, and obviously 4, these guys are ahead of us. But overall, I think that looks mid-range. So I don't think we suffer there. I don't think we get a 1 there. And then in the second one, strategy, we actually come out pretty well. 3.67 is definitely at the higher range. In fact, as I look, I think there's only 2 that beat us, the 4s here, of EPAM and Grid. Brilio just marginally better. We don't get 1s and 2s, which we want to avoid. We actually score our 5, 3 and 6. We're near the top of this. So I think we score really well on this phase. This thing doesn't count, and we're middle of the range there. So I don't think that's too bad, actually, when you look at the numbers. And I'm not sure how far people go into this report, because once you get here, we looked at this already, you and I. But when you look how far over here, the strategy versus the strength of current offering, and if I look at only this part of the grid to see where we got, we win from our name being on the right here, I think. Grid Dynamics get hurt a bit by theirs spilling into here. And really, aside from losing from EPAM, the only one we definitively lose to are Brilio. The others, as I say, smaller, and, you know, whether you're X or Y, it doesn't really matter. So, not sure that hurts us either. The thing that I think does hurt is we don't get so many nice write-ups, I don't think. I'm going to just pick out a few that I thought were lovely. Brilio has robust processes, and it quotes a couple of case studies. Grid Dynamics, modern, no locking because they're open source and cloud native. Maybe slightly higher price, but really good quality. Maybe not so good at agile knowledge transfer. I'm starting to think, is that such a massive thing? EPAM, the darling of Forrester, we know, maybe don't get such great attention from smaller clients, but good for big stuff. And once again, this write-up for them is all about the people, really. They do talk about augmented reality, voice and photo scanning. Did we get a chance to pick out text that we were proud of? I'm not sure that came up too much in our discussions. NIIT seem to be specialists in India, seem to be specialists in financial services, so a little bit old school in that way. India, a negative for some US companies, but good, they do quite well. Exadel, not heard of them too much, but Central and Eastern Europe, relatively small, 1,000 people, consistently high quality and productivity, open, proactive to co-innovation. This one looks nice, the way they've written this up. Less evidence that it does good work in agile transformation and knowledge transfer. Duncan now sounds like a teacher thinking of new ways to write school reports for 30 children who are okay. I'm not sure after this, I'm not going to keep reading because they're starting to sound very similar. Interested, I've just sent to Martin and Sujay that 3 pillars stand out with content, TV and publishing. That's a small detail. Get to Ness. I found this disappointing. Out of all of the readouts, we don't get any mention of case studies. It starts talking about our people. Now, the 3,000 sounds bigger than a lot of the other numbers, 900, 1,000, 1,500. So I'm not actually sure 3,000, if it's not 4,000, really stands out and hurts us that much. He mentions solid, the word solid twice. Solid framework, which I guess agile transformation, our own maturity assessment framework, which we wouldn't mind calling product development framework. Good focus on solid engineering. Wish it said product engineering, because other people get called out for doing good work in that area. Less evidence of, you know, this is bad, not so good. Some productivity issues, not so bad. But I don't see anywhere we get any positive wording that I can pick out and say, yeah, we did really well. Mentions NestQ. I don't know if that's good. So our last sentence is quite good, but just not as good as Brilio, who I see as our main competition here. Mindtree splits the number of people in the US and agile. I mean, confusing now, the focus. Is being agile more important as the end goal in software development? I'm not so sure. Mindtree get a better write-up than us. Looks like they got more love, spent more time on it, or maybe pay a bit more. I'm not so sure. Insight is a bit confusing. What's their parent company? But they do some interesting things in Rail AI, which I'm going to look up for other reasons. AI partner from Microsoft, that sounds good. HCL sort of stand out a little bit here because they obviously are a big company doing lots of other work which they don't call agile co-creation, so they probably got upset. Virtusa definitely good at one thing but not good at the other, so they've got some words that might hurt, and they come lower than us because they're contenders. Sybage, less good at transformation. Look at the work, they must have got upset with this. Developers follow orders but aren't creative enough. Ouch. Emphasis, outsourced agile for 10 years, similar to us, but they come further down. I don't think theirs is even that much worse than us. They actually get more positive reaction. Strength of current offering, vendor strategy, I say that we do well on the axes. And there's between 1,000 and 30,000 is what qualifies us. So HCL definitely a smaller chunk of their overall number of staff, many of whom are not agile. One last thing, did I read over here? The methodology. No, just picked out something about Spotify's agile approach, which it does. Right, I'm stop recording there. Bye.